responsible dog owner, you do everything you can to make sure your dog is happy and healthy. You take them to the vet, you play with them, you make sure they're fed and have a lap to cuddle on. They're truly your best friend. What if even with all that effort, neither you or your dog are safe from parasitic infection?
Whipworm is an intestinal parasite that affects both humans and dogs alike. Most whipworm infections don't show any signs or symptoms, which is why it's important to know how it's transmitted and how you can keep yourself safe.
Transmission occurs when you or your dog come into contact with fecal matter carrying whipworm eggs. While modern sanitation systems have eliminated human-to-human transmission, cleaning up after your dog can lead to infection. Whipworm infections suck the life out of you and your best friend, dehydrating you and stealing nutrients from the food you eat. With severe infections, this could mean growth retardation, slow cognitive development, weight loss, and anemia. Untreated infections in your dog could mean death.
Whipworm infection begins by ingesting embryonated eggs. These eggs hatch in the small intestine and release larvae. Larvae travel through the small intestine, mature, and establish themselves in the large intestines where they attach. Adult whipworms produce between 3,000 and 20,000 eggs a day. With the release of these eggs, the chain of transmission begins. Eggs are excreted in fecal matter and are deposited in soil. These eggs mature and become infective, a process that occurs in about 15 to 30 days.
Unfortunately, whipworm infections are difficult to catch early as many whipworm infections show no symptoms. Heavy infestations produce more noticeable signs and symptoms, including blood and mucus in the stool and diarrhea. Ultimately, a whipworm infection is diagnosed by characteristic football-shaped eggs in the stool.
If you suspect that you or your dog are infected, don't worry. Treatment is available. A physician or a veterinarian will determine the best treatment option. Dewormers stun and kill whipworms, preventing them from producing more eggs and expelling them from the large intestine. Because immature whipworms are resistant to these anti-parasitic drugs, treatment may need to be repeated for several months to prevent reinfection.
Preventing whipworm is done by removing contact with infectious eggs. Prevention for dogs means cleaning up after your dog, providing preventative drugs, and yearly checkups at the vet. Together, these reduce the number of eggs deposited in the soil, prevent whipworms from attaching in their large intestine, and allows early detection in the event of an infection. For humans, preventing whipworm infection revolves around better sanitary practices. When cleaning up after your dog, avoid bringing your hands close to your face and wash them thoroughly when finished. In addition, thoroughly clean food grown in the presence of manure or dog feces. They say knowing is half the battle. Armed with information about how whipworm is transmitted, its life cycle, signs and symptoms, and prevention, you can feel more confident in you and your dog's health.